Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss the input and output functions in Python. Your program is efficient if it is accepting the input from the user and processing it. So it has to accept any intended input from the user and to process it. If it is running only on some predefined constant values, then that program will work only on that particular set of values always. So it's very important to discuss how to accept inputs from the user and to process it. Python provides a standard library function input. So input function is enabling the user of a program to supply inputs to the program at runtime. So when your program is running at that time you can supply the values to the program and your program will be accepting that values as input and it can process it. Now, what is the syntax of this input function is input function name. After that, within set of parentheses, have to mention a string within set of double quotes. This is called as prompt. So prompt is an optional string that is displayed on the output screen as it is. Whatever string within double quotes you are giving within this or within the place of this prompt will be displayed as it is in the output screen. That sentence or string can be considered as the description to the user to inform him what type of input is expected from the user. So generally, the programmer is writing the program, user is going to use the program. So when the user is using the program, the user will not know exactly what type of data that program is expecting. So if the program is providing a description or a prescription to the user that enter a particular type of value or what values entered are expected by that particular user, then it will be useful for the program or user to enter the inputs according to the requirement. So this prompt is an optional string that is getting displayed on the output screen as a prescription to the user. Now let us define an input function. Okay, let us define an input function here. So for example, let me assume a variable, for example, name. So I want to accept the name of a person. Okay, I want to accept the name of a person. So name equal to, okay, name equal to. Then the input function starts with the input keyword within set of parentheses, right? I can provide the prompt string, but as I said to you, prompt is optional. You can omit it. Let us run this code and let us check how it is behaving, right? So run module and let me give a name for this. So input output dot py, it's already there. So let's replace it. Okay, right. So when the program is running, you see it is asking for an input. Okay, but we didn't give any prescription to the user, right? It's simply waiting. Okay, it's simply waiting for the input. Let me give the input. What input is to be entered? It is not informed to the user. Okay, so since I am the programmer, I know that I described or I defined a variable name. So I want to enter a name. So I am entering it. So Felix, for example, yes, it's accepted, right? But at the same time, when the user is actually not knowing what to give, then prescription is very important. So let me give a prescription here in the form of prompt string. Within this set of parentheses, within double quotes, let me give a prompt string. For example, your name enter your name, right? Now this prompt string is optional. Even though it's optional, it's very useful and it will be printed on the output screen as it is, and by seeing this the user will come to know that he has to enter the name. Now let us run the program again. So let us run the module again. Now you see it is asking for a name, enter your name. Now it's very clear, it's little having little more clarity comparing to the previous output, right? So enter your name, let me give Felix, right? You see now it's accepting the input. Okay, now it's accepting the input, but what is an important thing to understand is this input function is designed to accept characters entered by the user through keyboard. So the input device we are using in our computer is actually the keyboard. But how we will give the input? By pressing the keys in the keyboard, right? So we are giving the inputs in the form of collection of characters, right? So that is called a string. So input function is actually designed to accept the input from the user in the form of collection of characters, or otherwise in the form of a string. So let us check it, right? See, let me print it. Okay, let me print it. So print name, right? Let me print name. So print name, run module, enter your name. I'm giving the name. You say it's printing a string. Okay, it's printing a collection of characters. Okay, but what is the problem here is, let me print the type of this data. Okay, in Python we have a predefined library function called type. So type is actually designed to print the type of the particular data you are supplying as parameter. So within this type, to the type I am supplying this name as a parameter. That means I want to display the name, or sorry, type of this name variable. Okay, right? So as I told you, this input is capable enough to accept input from the user in the form of string. So it's already accepted the string, that means my name, and is assigned to this variable name, and it's printed, right? But let us check what type of value it is, right? What type of value it is. Let me run the program again. Enter your name. I'm giving Felix, right? Yeah, actually the problem. Okay, now let me complete it. Yes, let me complete the program by printing it. So print type name. Okay, print type name. Right. Now let me run the code again. So run module Felix. You see, it is actually asking for a input, right? Actually, it's a name, and name is a string, and it is printed one time. But after that, I printed the type of that name, right? Now you see, it is displaying the type of the name variable. That's a class string. Okay, that's a class string. So I accepted the input from the user by using input function directly. I didn't do any conversion. Directly assigned it to name variable. And when I checked its type, it's nothing but string, right? So from this we can understand that input functions are designed only to accept the strings as the input from the user. But we cannot restrict our programs to process only on strings, right? So we have to make our programs work even on numbers, right? So our program should be capable enough to process even numbers. Then how to enable our programs to get the numbers from the user? Okay. So still we are not having any other option to get the input from the user. We have to use only the input function. So input function is accepting the strings as input. In that case, after accepting the input, for example, if you are entering a number 100, that 100 is not considered as a number. It will be considered as a string 100 with the characters 100. But what I want in the program is actually 100. So in that case, that string 100 should be converted into the required type, whether it may be integer or float. So to do that, you have to do the type conversion of that particular string input entered by the user through keyboard when input function is executed into the integer or float by passing it as the parameter to int function or float function. So you have to pass the input you are getting from the user through keyboard as the parameter to the int function or float function, so that it will be converted to the integer type or float type. So let us check that. Let me change the content. Let me declare variable a and uh, input, enter and number. So user is expected to provide a number, right? He will enter, for example, 100 or 1000 or 20.5, whatever, but it is considered as a string. So as we discussed, it is considered as a string. So in that case, you want to convert it into the required type, numerical type, whether integer or float. So if you want to convert it into integer, for example, then whatever you are getting from the user, okay, whatever you are getting from the user through this input function should be passed as the parameter to int function. Should be passed as the parameter to int function. Now what will happen first? The innermost parenthesis will be executed. That means innermost set of parentheses will be executed. So input function will be executed and it will accept the input from the user in the form of string, and that is now taken as a parameter for the int function. So that value will be converted to int and it is assigned to the variable a. Now let us print the value of a, right? So print a equal to then a, right? So now it will print the value of a. Okay, it will print the value of a. But how can we know that it's a number or a string, right? So let me do one thing before converting it, right? Let me print its type one time. Okay, I'm printing the value of a, and let me print the type one time, right? So print type of a. I directly accepted the input from the user and assigned to A, and I am printing the type of this A. I'm printing A and printing the type of A. Let me check what is the result. Let me run the module. Enter a number. Let me give 100. You see, it's printing A equal 100, right? But at the same time, what is the type of value is actually string? Because as per the behavior of input function, it will accept only the string. So now it's my duty to convert it into integer. So as I told you, just pass that input you accepted from the user in the form of string through keyboard as a parameter to this integer function. Now let us display this type of a. Okay, now let us display the value of a and type of a one more time. Now let us check. Okay, right. So run module. So enter a number, for example 100. Now you see number actually it's printed, the value of a is printed. Now check the type of that a is actually integer. Now it's converted to numerical type. So this is how you can do the process of converting the string you are accepting from the user through input function into the form of required type, whether integer or float. I can use the float here. So float of input of enter a number. Now even though even if I give any integer value, it will be considered as float. For example, run module, enter a number 10. Okay, you see it is converted to float. Okay, it is converted to float and its type is float now. So it's very important to understand the behavior of input function. It's always programmed to accept only the strings as input from the user. It's your duty to convert it into a numerical type by using integer or float functions. Suppose if you are going to use that input as string itself, no need to convert it directly, use it in the program, right? So this is about int function, right? Int function or float function, and generally the input function. Okay, how to accept input from the user using input function, right? Now one important thing is here this integer or float, these are the functions capable to handle the numerical values. Actually they will accept and they will accept actually a particular value, string value or any numerical string value, single value, and convert it into the required type, whether integer or float. Suppose if you provide a string as or a string expression, okay, instead of a string single value, if you are providing a mathematical expression in the form of string to that int function or float function, they cannot convert or they cannot execute that string processing, or they cannot execute that expression and get the value, then convert it into integer or float. They are not capable enough to do that process. So let us check its behavior, how this int or float are working with string expressions, string mathematical expressions. So let me write a small string expression. For example, s is equal to, within set of double quotes, let me give 2 plus 3, right? 2 plus 3. Now this 2 plus 3, actually it's a string expression, right? It's an expression, mathematical expression, but it is given in the form of string, right? Now let me print its type. So print type of is. Let us check it. Run module. You see I gave an expression, mathematical expression, but its form is actually string. It's not a numerical, or it's a numerical expression. It's a mathematical expression. It's a string expression, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to convert this string expression into integer or float. Okay, I want to convert it into integer. This expression's result into integer or float. So first, that expression should be evaluated, but it's in the form of string, and that should be evaluated, and then it should be converted to required type integer or float. Right? Let me check whether int or float is doing this purpose. Okay, serving this purpose. Right? So let me check first with the integer or float functions, and whether this int or float functions are capable enough to do this process, right? So what I do is I'm passing this expression, okay, s to int function. I'm passing this expression s to int function. That means it's a mathematical expression. I hope that, and I expect that this 2 plus 3 should be evaluated, and I have to get the result 5, and 5 should be converted to integer. Then it should be stored into some variable, for example, okay, for example, a, right? And then let me check whether it is printing or not. So print a. Now let me run the code. You see, it is actually an error thrown. Okay, an error is thrown. What is that error? A value error, invalid literal for int with base 10 2 plus 3. Actually, int is not capable enough to process the strings, or otherwise capable to process the string expressions. They cannot evaluate a string expression, and then the result cannot be converted into integer. Right? The integer is not having that capability, or even float is not having that capability. Okay, float is not having that capability, right? Let me check it. Yeah, the same error results, right? Actually, same error results. So here float is also not able to convert a string expression into a numerical value. It's not possible. But in Python we have another function. Okay, we have another function. That function is capable of evaluating a string mathematical expression and convert it into integer or float, okay, or it's a number, and then it can be assigned to a particular variable. Okay, so let us check eval, right? Eval is serving the purpose of converting a string expression to int or float. Okay, right? So now let us check how eval is actually serving the purpose. Okay, so already string is defined. Okay, already string is defined and its type is printed. Okay, then instead of using float, I am using eval. Now eval is actually going to evaluate that expression first, 2 plus 3, then convert the result back into the numerical type. Otherwise, first it will convert it into numerical type and evaluate the expression, and result is stored back into A, and we will print A. And now let us print the type of A after the eval function is executed. So print A, sorry, print type of A, right? Now let us run the code. Yes. So initially, actually, we gave a string 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 was a string which was in the double quotes. Then now, after eval is executed, okay, after eval is executed, it is giving the result 5. Okay. So the next statement we gave is actually eval of s. So here we not used int or float. Eval was capable enough to convert the 2 or 3, that string expression, into a numerical expression. Then it is evaluating it and assign the result back to A. So now the string 2 plus 3 is actually evaluated, and result 5 is actually stored into this place, right? And one more thing, the result is printed. After that, now you check the type of A. It's integer now. It's not string. It's no more string, right? It's an integer now. So eval is serving the purpose of converting any string expression, string mathematical expression, into the numerical type. So this is very important to know in Python, right? Now, up to this we have discussed the input function and int and float function. What is the necessity of converting the input from the user into int or float, and how the eval is working, and how the eval is used to convert a string mathematical expression into the numerical result, and all these things. Now let us move to the next topic, output function. So already in this program we use this output function print many a time. So Python standard library is providing a built-in print function to print or display the strings or some content in the standard output device, for example screen. So you can print any or you can display any string or any sentence or any content or any value on your standard output device. That means a monitor or screen by using print method or print function, right? What is the general or very common syntax of this print is actually print of then string. Okay, print of string. So already we discussed the print of string many times. Anyway, let us have a small example. Okay, so print of then hi hello, right? Now only one print statement is there. This print is taking a string as its parameter and it will print the string as it is in the output screen. It's a basic function of the print method. Okay, basic functionality of this print method. Let us run the code and let us check. Yes, it's printing hi hello, right? And print is it's actually very simple. It will do very simple work to very complex work. Let me explain that too, right? So now I passed only a string as input or parameter to this print, so it's printing that string as it is on the screen. Now next one, uh, as I said, string is a collection of characters enclosed within single or double quotes, and the strings. And one more thing, you can display a string and a value of variable. Okay, a string and a value of a variable can be displayed on the screen. So string you will provide within set of double quotes, but the value of the variable is actually denoted by the variable name. Then how can you connect or concatenate this string and variable name by using comma? Let us have a small demo on this. Now, for example, a equal to 10. Now I want to print the value of a with a description or prescription that value of a equal to. So print, right? Then value of a equal to. So up to this string value of a equal to will be printed as it is. It's a string. Then I want to print the value of a. Then how can I differentiate this string value of a equal to and this variable a is by using a comma. Place a comma after this. In other programming languages, for example, in Java, plus is serving the purpose. But here, comma is serving the purpose of doing this process of concatenating or combining the string as well as the variable value. Now, the variable's value is available in the variable name or it's denoted by the variable name a. See, now one string and one variable name. Okay, both are combined or concatenated using a comma, right? Now, let us run it. Yes, value of a equal to 10. Now it is printing the string value of a equal to as it is on the screen. Then it is printing the value of a or the value available or the data available in that a. That is 10, right? Now let us have a small discussion on what is the actual syntax of this print function. Okay, print function is actually very simple. At the same time, let us discuss the actual syntax of print function. Okay, we are just passing one string and one variable name separated by comma, but print is not stopped only with that, right? Print is having a predefined syntax, and it is accepting zero or more parameters. Okay, it's designed in such a way that it can accept zero or more parameters and it can process that parameters if it is applied. So right, let us discuss one by one what are the parameters actually expected by print function. It's since they are not optional, sorry, they are not mandatory, they are made optional, we are not providing it. At the same time, what are the parameters expected by the print function? We have to know it. So this is what the actual syntax of print function. This is what the actual syntax of print function. So print of, then one star is mentioned, actually number of objects that is to be printed. So or the values to be printed. So obj is actually the objects is actually the object to be printed. Okay, so object to be printed or values to be printed. And next one is comma sep is denoting a separator. So when you are printing the values in on the screen, right, how the values are separated from one another. right? So you have to separate them, so for that separation we can provide a separator, separator character. Okay, that separator character is actually already set. Okay, a separator character is already set, that is a white space. A white space is the default separator, so it's already defined in the syntax of print. Okay, already it is defined in the syntax of print. So even if you are not using white space, it will provide a white space between the values printed by uh, the print function, right? So its white space is actually the default separator character. Next one, it will print the values. It will print the value and then one separator character. Then again value separator character. Suppose number of values are printed. Okay, number of values are printed means number of objects are to be printed. First it will print one object and it will leave a separator character. Then again next object leave a separator character. Next object leave a separator character. So this is how it is behaving. Okay. Then at the end of printing all the objects after this with separated characters, then it will display an end. End is actually denoting, okay, end is denoting the end character to be printed. Okay, end character to be printed after printing all the values. By default, new line is considered as the end character. Okay, new line is denoted as the no created as the end character. So even if you are not providing any end character, it will automatically move the cursor to the next line. So that's how print is working like this. For example, let me check how it is working. I am okay, I am printing a particular string. For example, I am good. So what will happen is this print will print this values on the screen. Then at the end, it will print end character. That means the new line character as the end character. That means the cursor will move to the next line automatically. And if you are printing one more content here, okay, if you are printing one more content here, print, okay, I am fine, for example, that will be in the next line. That will be in the next line. It will continue in this next line. Okay. So print after printing this current content, I am good. Print is capable enough to leave an end character. That end character is actually new line by default. So it will move the cursor to the new next line. Okay, automatically after this string I am good is printed. So let me check it. Yes. First, I am good is printed and print automatically moved the cursor to next line. So I am fine is printed in the next line, right? So this is how the end is working. So end is actually denoting the end character printed after printing all the values, right? Next one is actually file. Next one is actually file. File is actually the destination, okay, destination of printing. Okay, where it is to be printed. Okay, destination of printing, right? Where to print that values. So file is the object denotes where the values are printed, and by default, the value of file is actually sys.stdout. It is denoting nothing but the screen. Okay, your monitor or your output device, that screen is actually denoted by this sys.stdout. So by default, this sys.stdout is actually considered as the destination of printing the content. So that's why it's printing on the output screen. That's all, right? So now no need to worry about the flash, right? It's always false. Now, let us have simple example of having this print function with all this required parameters, one or two. That means except this flush. Okay, flush is by default it's false. Now, let me write a simple code, print, then print then 1 comma 2 comma 3. For example, here let me print 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, I want to print this values and let me run. Now what is happening is actually it will print 1 2 3 4 5 by using the comma as the separators. Let us run the code. Sorry, it is printing with white space as a separator because we provided the values, and it is taking the white space as a separator character and is printing the values with white space as the default separator character. So every value is separated from the next value by using white space. Now, instead of white space, I want to have a particular character as a separator. Between this 1 and 2, I want to have, for example, a star. Okay. Between this 2 and 3, a star. Between this 3 and 4, star. So what is actually happening is this a separator star is to be used between this 1 and 2 or after this 1. So now let me make a small change in the code. Okay. Print of print of 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. These are the objects, that means the values to be printed. After that, separator is actually by default it is white space, but if you are not providing it, it will accept it will take white space as a separated character. Now I am making another separated character. For example, within single quote I am providing star. Now let me run the code. Yes, you see, initially it took the white space as the separator. Default separator is actually the white space, so it accepted. We didn't provide any separator character, so it took white space as separate character. Now I provided a specific separator character star, so now star is used as a separator character, right? So this is the next thing, and then next one, I can provide an end character also. Okay, I can provide an end character also. Okay, for example, let me assume that I want to provide a dollar as the end character. So after printing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separated by the star, for example, I at the end I want to have the dollar at the end. I want to have the dollar at the end. So in that case, let me change the code a little bit. Print 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, then separator, as I told you, it is separator is equal to star, right, comma, then end. By default it is new line, you don't need to specify it when you are calling the print function. Even if you are calling with new line end, it's not an issue, but it's not necessary, it's not mandatory because already it's defined. But if you want to change that end from no to the new line, that means from the new line to a specific character. For example, let me take a dollar, right? So now what will happen? The cursor will not move to the next line after printing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separated by the star. It will keep the cursor in the same line by placing a dollar at the end, right? Let us check it. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is printed as usual, first with white space as separator, then with star as separator. Now with star as separator as well as at the end there's a dollar symbol placed. Cursor is not moving to the next line. Let us check that too, whether cursor is moving to the next line or not. Let me have one more print here. Okay, for example, print checked, right? Now I expect that since this end is changed to dollar, cursor will not move to the next line. So this print checked will be printed in the same line after printing this dollar. So let us check that. Yes, you see, since the end is actually changed to dollar, cursor is not moving to the next line, and it is printing the next string in the same line after the dollar, right? So you can change the property of the print, okay, anytime, okay, in your program, and you can get the different outputs as you expected, right? So this is very important because normally we are not worrying about the internal syntax of print and how can we use it, how can we use the print for our requirements. So now I'm very happy to explain you all this. This is the actual syntax of print, and you can modify this actual syntax and you can get the benefits out of it. Now next one, you can format the output. So now the outputs are really good, right? And you can combine a string and a value of a variable by using comma, right? But still, we can improve your output a little more clear, right? And by using the placeholders, okay? So and format function. So we have a predefined format function that makes your output looking little good and attractive, as well as you can print little efficient strings on the screen, right? Let us check. For example, I am having a new code. For example, x is equal to 10 and y equal to 20. So I have two variables, x is equal to 10 and y equal to 20. Now let me have a sum of this x and y. So z equal to x plus y. Z is equal to x plus y. So x is 10, y is 20, so and z is equal to x plus y. So now they are added and the result is in z. Now I want to print a string like this. Sum of 10 and 20 is equal to 30, right? Usually we will print okay, sum of then x, right, comma x, then uh, and, right, again a string, then again y, right, then again comma, then is, right. So lot of commas should be used, and the string you are seeing will be a little confusing, right now, but the process can be made very simple by using format function. Let me write this. So print of then sum of, so in the place of x, okay, in the place of x, let me give a placeholder. Okay, so this set of curly braces is denoting the placeholder. So it's a place for x. It is a place for the value of x, right? Sum of x and y. Sum of x and y. So this set of curly braces are acting as the placeholders for the values of x and y. So in this place of curly braces, 10 will come here and 20 will come here, right? So this is what we expect. Sum of x and y is, again, what is that? Z is the sum of x and y, right? And then this is the string I want to print, but I want to format it by using format function. So I want to call this format function on this string. This is a string. So if you want to call the format function, that's a function to process a string, you have to call it using the string as its object to call. So in that case, the string dot, okay, the string dot, then format, okay, format of, then what is the first value, what is the first variable here? It is x, right? So x, then second one here it is y, right? Then third one here is it, yes, and then print it. So sum of x, in the place of x, actually 10 will come here, in the place of y 20 will come here, in the place of z 30 will come, and this format function is aligning everything properly, right? So now let us check how it is printing. Sum of 10 and 20 is 30. Now sum of 10 and 20 is 30, right? So this format function is doing a purpose of aligning your content to be displayed on the output screen, right? Now the thing is, these placeholders are not having any order to be specified. Actually, simply they are the placeholders, right? For example, let me change the values, right? Sum of x, y, and z. This is what the order, but here there is no provision for providing the order. In that case, for example, no, mistakenly if I provide x, y here and z here and x here, what will happen? Still, it will not, it will actually print whatever you provided. Actually, now this will be considered as a placeholder for y, and this will be considered as a placeholder for z, and this will be considered as a placeholder for x. Then what will happen? Sum of 20 and 30 is equal to 10. So that is what will be printed, right? Let us check it. Yes, sum of 20 and 30 is 10, right? Now it's not clear, right? Actually, so we want to have an order of values. You want to have the order of values. Okay, when you are specifying this placeholders, how to specify the order also. Okay, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one. Then when you are specifying the arguments here for the format function, if you are following that order, then automatically they will be printed. Okay, so let me have another code. For example, okay, there is a string first. Okay, s is equal to, right, apple. Okay, apple. Then this is s1. For example, let us assume that this is s1, and next one is s2, that is orange, right? Now what you want to print is print I like okay, I like apple more. Okay, I like apple more, right, than orange. So in that case, what I do, I like first placeholder. This is for apple. Okay, apple more than orange. This is the placeholder for orange. Okay. Now the string is closed. Dot format of S1 is apple, right, and S2 is actually orange, right. So now it's in the proper order, right. I provide the apple, okay, which is a more, okay, my preferred okay, fruit than orange. So first I like apple should come here, so S1 should come first, then S2 should come next, right. Now it is in the proper order. Let me check it one time. So run module. Yes, I like apple more than orange. It's printing properly. But mistakenly, if I change the order here, instead of S1 first, I give S2 here, then S1, what will happen? The meaning or the sentence will be completely changed with its meaning, right? You see, I like orange more than apple. Actually, that is not true, right? In that case, what can I do is I can provide the places or order for this okay, variables. Okay, this is actually S1 and this is S2. Okay, S2. This is S2. So now this is 0 and this is 1. Okay, this is 0 and this is 1. Now I want 0 first. Okay, that means the variable at 0 first and 1 next, right. 0 first and 1 next. Now what will happen, this the placeholders are ordered properly. Okay, these placeholders are ordered properly, and now they can print in a proper order, right. So run module. Yes, I like apple more than orange, right. I like apple more than orange. Okay, right. So even if you change here, it's not a big issue, it will not affect the output, right. So I hope that you understood how the input function is working and what is the purpose of converting the string you accept from the user through keyboard into integer or float by using int or float functions, and how eval is functioning. Eval is capable of converting a string form mathematical expression into a numerical result. And then we discussed the input function, print function. Print function is used to print the values on the standard output device like screen. And we discussed the actual syntax of print, and how can you get the expected outputs from the print function by changing the default parameters of this print function. After that, we discussed how to format our outputs by using format function and curly braces or placeholders. So I hope that you enjoyed this topic and video, and keep on practice programming, and happy programming. Thank you.